Doing here. Hey guys, welcome to the team page. We do this call every Monday night, and I just wanted to say hello, welcome. Hope you had a great Memorial Day weekend. Super excited about our call this evening, or our special guest this evening. If you've been paying attention to the recognition boards monthly or even weekly, you recognize the name. It says Rebecca on there, but I understand she goes by Becca and prefers Becca. So, I don't want to take up a lot of my time talking about her because I'm going to let her do that. But I'm really excited about having her on the call because in addition to what I've seen her producing volume-wise and stuff like that, I saw her make a post recently where I was like, wow, that's really compelling. And, some people need to hear that because a lot of people don't share necessarily that they're making money, right? I mean, like if you're one of those coaches, perhaps that you're having really good results with the fitness, or, you're like fitness, and everybody that you sign up just signs up for the discount and they don't really work the business, then you might want to drop in there every now and then that you make some money too, because that way you're attracting two different types of people. But anyway, without further ado, I'm going to let you introduce yourself, and thank you very much for being on the call, Becca. I'm going to okay, you unmute yourself. That's fine. All right, take it away, young lady.
Thank you, Chris. So my name is Rebecca Hunter, and yes, I do go by Becca. I am a mother of 4 children. My oldest is 8. I have a 6-year-old, a 5-year-old, and a 1-year-old son. I run a daycare out of my house, so with my 4 kids being home right now and homeschooling and having 12 kids coming every day, my life is quite turned upside down right now. But I can honestly say that this business and the accountability piece and the working out and the products have been life-saving for me. And being able to do this tonight has just given me something to look forward to. So I kind of just wanted to go back and share with you as to how I got started. So when I had my first child, I experienced postpartum anxiety. Growing up, I always wanted to be a mom. If you asked me in high school what I wanted to be, I said I want to be a mom. Didn't care what else I was, as long as I could be a mom and I could mostly be home. I knew that I would have to do something to keep myself social because I've always been social. So I had my first son. I came home from the hospital, and just shortly, weeks after, anxiety hit me one night in the middle of the night. I remember sitting up and thinking, like, I'm dying. Like, what is wrong with me? I felt like I had something on my chest. I couldn't breathe. This continued to happen. And every time it happened, I was fearful of what it was going to happen. It just continued to get worse. And I started to not be the mom that I thought that I would always be. I had my husband take me to the emergency room because I truly thought something was wrong with me. I needed that. I needed something from the doctors to tell me that I was okay. And they did. They told me my vitals were fine. It was anxiety. So I went to my primary care provider and we kind of hashed it out. We talked about like what was happening. And he told me, like, what are you eating? Are you exercising? What's going on with your life? At the time, I was working full-time, going to school full-time. I had my newborn son. I was eating crap. I thought I was eating healthy, but I really had no idea what I was putting into my body. So he said, you need to start paying attention to what you're eating and you need to start working out. So, okay. So I went home. At the time we lived with my mother-in-law. So I was telling her about it and she said, you know what, do Weight Watchers. And I said, okay, I'll do Weight Watchers with you. We did Weight Watchers together. I still wasn't working out. I downloaded that app on my phone where I could scan food. And at the time I was like, I need to eat food. So I was eating everything I possibly could. I was scanning food. I wasn't looking at nutritional value at all. And my anxiety just continued to get worse because I was eating crackers and salami and things that were like just nothing to them. So I went back to the doctors and he put me on medication. And I was totally like not for that because it just scared me. But it did make me feel less anxious. It didn't really help me with anything other than feeling less anxious, but enough so that I decided that I was ready for another baby. So we got pregnant and I had a miscarriage. And shortly after, I got pregnant again. And those hormones kind of like balanced out my anxiety. So I started to feel a little bit better. After I had my daughter, I became more of a homebody just because I was so fearful that I was going to be somewhere and have a panic attack. I started gaining weight. I stopped caring about what I was wearing, what I looked like. I felt like crap, and I stopped doing things that I once loved so much. I really used to like, I had been so social. And I started to feel, um, my anxiety was better, but I was scared that it was going to pop up again. So, I started making excuses. I kept saying, I'm going to have anxiety, so I can't do this. It was my crutch. And I just started not caring about what I was doing. So then I got pregnant again and I had my third kid. And the pregnancy again made my hormones just kind of balance out. So after I had him, I said, I can't go back on medication. I can't feel so numb so I can deal with my anxiety. But I had been kind of talking with some of my friends about what I was feeling. And one of my friends was a Beachbody coach. She said, do 21-day fix. So I signed up. I got Shakeology and I got the CDs for 21-day fix. And I crushed it. I got the best results. I was loving what I was eating. I loved having a meal plan. And I did the first 21 days and I reached out to her and told her like I was so excited. And I got a little bit of support from her. So I redid the 21-day fix again. I did it 3 times. I felt amazing. I was sharing on my social media and I remember sharing, it just popped up in my newsfeed not too long ago. It was a picture of the CDs. And that's what I posted. That was my post for social media. I didn't get any love on it. Um, and at that time I was kind of a little just like, I had such good results. I felt amazing, but I wasn't getting like the love that I wanted on my posts, and I wasn't getting the support from my coach that I had hoped. At this time, there was another MLM that was kind of going around that was like shakes and teas, and the support that they were posting on Facebook seemed so amazing that I just jumped ship. And so I started drinking 3 shakes a day. I was drinking teas. I started taking weight loss pills. There was no meal plan. There was no exercise. But the support was enough to keep me there, to keep me going, until I realized that I wasn't getting any results and my anxiety was creeping back up. So I went back to my doctors and I said, what's going on? Like, I'm eating healthy. And so we did some blood work. Nothing was wrong with me. It truly was just my diet and my exercise. He said, what are you eating? If you're saying you're eating healthy, what does your diet look like? And I explained it to him. And I actually took my shakes with me. I said, this is what I'm drinking. He yelled at me, and he's an amazing doctor, but he seriously yelled at me. He said, Rebecca, and he pointed out all the hidden chemicals. He pointed out all the artificial sweeteners. He said, what you're putting into your body is crap, and this is the reason why you're gaining weight, and this is the reason why your anxiety is coming back. I stopped that day. That was enough for me to know that the support that I was getting wasn't worth it, and what I was putting into my body was not what I wanted. At this time, 80 Day was launching, and there was the big test group that was going around, and my coach reached out to me and I said, sign me up. It was like one of her like donuts, like, hey, we got a big program coming out. Is this something that you're interested in? I said, absolutely. I need to lose weight. I need to feel better. And so she sent me the options. I said, I'll go with the mega. I know for sure she probably did not think that I was just going to go with the mega, but I was so desperate to feel better at that time. So she sent it over to me. I kind of ignored it for a couple days because I was like, oh, it's a lot of money. Am I going to stick with this? Like, do I really want to jump to another shake again? But then she reached out to me again and she did her follow up and I committed. And 2 weeks in, I felt amazing. I was fueling my body. I was drinking the shake. I loved the energize. The accountability was everything that I needed. It's the biggest part for me. So I traveled to Iowa and I took the program with me and came home, stayed on track. Even though it was 80 day and it was so intense, it was doable because the accountability was so spot on. I started sharing my journey every single day. I was sharing my workouts, I was sharing how excited I was, and I hit diamond within 30 days of saying that I wanted to coach. Um, Katie was my coach was so pumped for me that she was like, "What's next? What are we going for?" And then I was diamond with cushion. And after that, I kind of got comfortable with where I was at, um, because I thought I'm diamond. Like, I don't need to continue to like build. I just got comfortable with it. The money was good. And then I got pregnant again. And but I was so excited with the results that I got and the accountability that I was having that I continued to work out through my whole pregnancy. I did 80-day obsession. I tried doing Transform 20, but you can't do any step work when you got a big belly. So I stuck with 80-day obsession. That program just really, I love Autumn. It really worked for me. But I did stop inviting and I stopped reaching out and following up during my pregnancy. But just sharing my journey was enough to keep me kind of around diamond. After I had my son, my doctor gave me the go ahead 2 weeks after I had him. My body was so strong from doing this workout through my whole pregnancy that I jumped right back into 80-day obsession. I continued sharing my journey again, and my business was doing good. It still was just kind of floating around diamond, a little less, a little more. And then I switched to bar. And if I'm being completely honest, bar was not for me. I did 2 weeks of it and the burn was unreal. The results were there, but mentally, it wasn't for me. And I felt so guilty as a coach that I didn't enjoy one of the programs that I could have been fully taking advantage of the launch. And I kind of made myself feel like I need to fake this until I make it, until it's made me stop looking forward to showing up every day. I was I went from faking my smile to not showing up for team calls. I was making excuses as to why I wasn't inviting people, why I wasn't following up, and I saw my business take a huge downward spiral. So I showed up for Rise and Rise one morning. I don't know if you guys do that. So we have a team call on Saturday where we all get together, we drink our Energize, and then we work out together. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to show up today. And I showed up, and my Joan called me out. She said, Becca, where are you in the tracker group? Like, you haven't posted. What's going on? And I had no response. And my coach was like, you know what? You haven't been posting your excitement. You haven't been sharing your journey every day. There's nothing in your stories. There's nothing on your page, like what's going on. And I knew in my head what was going on. I knew that I wasn't enjoying bar enough to share to share that I was excited about it. So another week went on, and I continued to fake my smile, try to enjoy it, and I just could not get into it. So I got on the next Rise and Rise, and Joan said that she admitted that she couldn't get into it. And she said, you know what, she had talked to Autumn Calabrese, who I am just head over heels for, love her right to pieces. And she said she had talked to Autumn. Autumn said, if you are in a program that you don't look forward to every day, that you wake up and you dread it, that program is not for you. Do not feel guilty that you are a Beachbody coach and you don't look forward to the workout. Switch it up. And I said, okay. I unmuted myself and I said, I'm joining you. What day are you on? She said, I'm on day 6. Cardio flow. I said, okay, I'm doing it with you. I mean, I hate cardio flow, but when it's over, I mentally feel fulfilled. Like, there's just no greater feeling. And I got right on my phone. I started talking to it. I started creating FOMO. And I said, I've got 5 slots open. Like, who wants to join me? That day, I had gotten back to diamond and above. And just having that rush from the workouts and having other people connect with me again encouraged me to continue to share my journey. So right after that, we had created a pod for our builders that were kind of around the same page, that had the same goals. So it's me and 5 other girls, and we're all shooting like around the same thing. And then I'm in a pod where I'm with girls that are further along in their business with me, but it's amazing encouragement for me to keep going. Every single day they're telling me what they're doing, and it's like, wow, this is real. Like, and then I'm in a pod where there's girls who are underneath me who need my expertise to tell them what to do. So I'm being a leader. I've got those girls that are right there with me, and then I've got leaders who are encouraging me every single day. So as I'm doing this and my business is going, I started feeling myself get bored with 80-day obsession. I mean, I've done it like 5 times. I started just really like not looking forward to it. I was going through the motions. One of my girls jumped into lift 4, and I jumped in with her. It was perfect. It was a nice change up. And then boxing came out, and I took full advantage of that launch. I wasn't sure that I would like boxing. I really didn't think that it would be for me, but I just shared it. I created that FOMO. I said 10 slots left, and I filled those 10 slots quickly just because I was sharing every day. I was excited. So I was in my stories, I'm posting the products that I use. I'm creating the FOMO. I'm putting down the 10 slots. I'm writing the girls' names in as they sign up. That week that I started launching, that I started sharing the launch of 10 rounds, I made $400. And that was my biggest paycheck. And I was so excited. I said, you know what? I'm going to do the same thing this week. And I did it. And the next week I only made $300. And I was like, oh man, like I really don't want to go less than $400 now that I've done it. It feels so good. So I said, I'm going to start showing up every power hour. I'm there. I'm going to ask my girls to show up for more power hours. I've been on every team call. I've showed up to every Rise and Rise. Anything that we have going on, I've made it my priority to be there because I know that the money is there. I know the money is to be made, and that there's so many people out there that need this.
So, hey, let me ask you, I'm sorry. So when you're talking about that, you're sharing something in your stories and you're trying to create that FOMO, what does that look like? I mean, can you expand on that a little bit? So
yeah. So not only am I saying that like I've only got 10 slots left, I want to make sure that I'm focusing on my girls. I'm sharing like this is coming right up, and you're going to want to be in there for the accountability part. This is going to be a huge launch, and you don't want to miss out. We're all starting together. We're all going to be on day one, just creating that fear of missing out on something that's bigger than what we are by ourselves.
okay. And your social media circle, what was it, when you were kind of more hobby in it, right? And now that you're more serious about it, are you adding people daily, or what, how many people are in your network? You understand what I'm saying? Like how many Facebook
Yeah.
followers?
Honestly, I'm not sure. I know that my followers, like my stories daily, I have like 300 plus usually watching my stories daily. I have 1,100 followers on Instagram and Facebook. I'm not sure.
And so are most of your people that you're getting for you and your husband, do you think that they're coming from IG or Facebook, or kind of just equally both?
So it had been Facebook for most of the time, most of it, but I've just recently switched over to inviting through Instagram because I felt like I was just getting ignored a lot on Facebook. I think it's just so easy for people on Facebook because it's used for so many different things, that it's easy for someone to open a message and ignore it and then forget that you have even messaged them. So I moved on to Instagram, and I'm getting response to almost everything that I'm sending. And even if it's a no, thank you, not right now, or, I've thought about it, but I can't make it work, I'm still getting responses from people, which is so nice to be able to make those connections.
Right. And so how often, or I'm assuming it's probably pretty fair to say you probably work in your business at least some every day. Would that be accurate?
Yep.
And how long do you think that you're spending, if you were going to average it out per day, or something like that?
So it's hard for me to say that because some days I'm waking up early in the morning and I'm spending like 30 minutes before the daycare kids show up. I'm sending out invites, but then at night I've been spending maybe like an hour to 2 hours in the evening, just sitting down and either sending out invites, following up, or working with my current challengers. I try to spend most of the daycare rest time, which is like 2 hours, just doing like business related things.
Right.
Um, Instead of just scrolling through social media like I was before, just looking for people to like go and like on stuff. Now I'm like, every time I get on my phone, it's business related. Like I'm trying to build connections.
Right. And so I think that's super valuable. And I just happen to know, I'm just sitting here and looking at who's on the call. So you run a daycare out of your home, right? And you have how many kids? You have 4 kids, ages what?
Um, 9, 6, 5, and 1.
Right. So that's some pretty, that keeps you busy even when you're not one of
Yeah.
somebody else's kids, but you're still putting in time pretty much every day. And the minimum used to be $400 a week, right? But
Hmm.
the post that I kind of talked about a little bit beforehand, tell us a little bit about that one, because I thought that was really exciting. And I mean, $400 a week, that's $1,600 a month. That's life-changing money for anybody, pretty much.
Yeah.
Um, but so tell us about your that recent post that we're talking about, and then what kind of time frame is there between when you were like, oh man, I made less than 400 to now what you're making?
Okay. So when I made the 400, that's when it really lit the fire. I was like, okay, I'm going to start showing up for the power hours. I'm going to start showing up for um, everything that I possibly can. And then I'm going to create more. And I was inviting some of our teammates to even do power hours with me just to hold myself more accountable. Um, then I said to myself, and I said to my husband, like, this is legit. Like, I can make more money doing this than I can running a business out of my home, watching 12 kids every day. Like, this is more enjoyable. This is less stressful. I will always watch kids. So I said, I need to come up with a why. What's going to make me work harder? Like, what's going to make me wake up early in the morning? What's going to make me stay up late at night? Why do I want this much money? And I just want time. Like, I just want time with my family, with my children, to enjoy life and to not feel like I'm constantly rushing. And when I figured that out, and when I found my valuable and made my why so strong, I started showing up even more. I started filling every single pocket of time that I possibly could to inviting coaches. Like you posted tonight saying that you were on your back porch. Instead of like being out playing with your kids, you were sending out invites, because you know now that making that sacrifice to letting your kids go out and play by themselves while you're sitting over and inviting is going to be more valuable down the road, because by giving up that little bit of time, even though you're still sitting there working from your porch, you're not working for somebody else. You're still sacrificing something so that down the road, it's going to be even more valuable.
Yeah, you know what, and I can speak to, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I can speak to
No.
that exactly. And it's one of the things that I say all the time where, when I got started, my kids were 6 and 10. And I was a cop working midnight shift, and my kids would come in, and this actually might even be made up, but but I mean, it could have happened, right? Where my kids would come in and they would be like, "Hey, Dad, come outside and play with me," and I was like, "No, get out of here! I'm trying to spend more time with you," because I was working, but I
Right.
didn't try to spend time with them right then. I meant, hey, I'm fixing to go full time, and then we can be together, for the rest of your time until you're out of the house. So
Right.
I know exactly what you're talking about, and I think that that's one of the things too that people don't understand. Um, they think that they're just casually kind of working a little bit is going to get them the results that people like yourself and other coaches have. Like when I decided, hey, you know what, I'm going to do this and I'm going to crush it. Like I didn't watch TV for 2 years, except for Survivor when it was on. But other than that, I was working my business or I was at my day job. I'm not trying to take over your college. I think
No, no.
that
And
exactly.
that's the other thing too. There's been many nights where I've given up sitting down and watching TV with my husband, or going to bed early, or sleeping in because I've woken up and I've worked my business, but it's made a huge difference. And that's when my paychecks have started to increase. And my last paycheck between my husband and I was $1,189. And that is worth it.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's $52,000 a year, more than that, right?
Right.
You know,
And so those little sacrifices that I'm making here and there are adding up. So to just think that if I could when I get rid of my full-time job and I'm working maybe the 5 to 6 hours that I'm working a day right now, like that's going to be life-changing. And that's fuel to my fire to continue to do it.
so you think that you're putting in about 4, 5, 6 hours a day now if you averaged it out?
Yeah, this last week, no, I have not, but for about a month before that, yes, easily, because it's just been so enjoyable and it's been easy to just sit down and just talk Beachbody. Like,
No, that's awesome. And so, so Kelly had a question. There, I'll just let you read it instead of me reading it to you. But well, I guess you know what? Maybe some people can't see it if they're on their phone. So the question is, if you're not spending a lot of time going through and building relationships, you know, how are you getting so much interest and feedback on your posts?
so I am still like scrolling Facebook and I'm going on and I'm liking and loving things, but I'm not so much going through social media or like just wasting time on my phone, going online shopping or getting on and just watching stories of people that I would never connect with. Now I'm going from one person and I'm finding like the boutiques that um, you do your hashtag, you find your dog mom, you find your mom of 4, you find your fit mom, daycare provider, and you find those people that you could possibly connect with. Instead of just scrolling through Facebook of most of the people that are already Beachbody coaches, instead of scrolling down and just looking through all their posts, I'm scrolling through Facebook and Instagram with intent to find new followers and make new connections.
Okay.
What about the new person who draws you to try and connect with them? So if somebody reaches out to me, yeah, I'm absolutely taking advantage of that, making connections with them and continuing to move on. Is that
Sorry, I
what
don't
you
mean
meant?
to interrupt. It's more about if you're scrolling, so you're talking about scrolling through all your social media.
Yeah.
What is it about the people that you are somehow being able to connect with? What is it about them that draws you to them? Not them asking you questions, but if you're seeking people out, what is it about them that is drawing you to ask them questions or invite them in?
So I like to focus a lot on moms. Looking for somebody, who might need a little bit of positivity in their life. If you're seeing somebody who's having a hard time with COVID and they're struggling and they've got kids, just being able to reach out to them and share them a little bit of positive vibes. Moms, daycare providers for me. I've recently been sharing stuff with my mom and women of her age. So just encouraging them that, they're not too old to do this. Like, that's absolutely something that's doable. I just recently signed a male coach, and that has been kind of like something that I've been interested in. Is I don't want to just have a team full of girls. Like, I want to show that this is not just for women, but men can do this too. So just connecting with him and just trying to figure out ways to make our audience bigger.
So if I could, can you talk a little bit about one of the things that I think a lot of people do, I know I still do it even, is saying no for somebody, right? When you're scrolling through, like what I try and tell people, and I tell them this because it reminds me also, right? Like, hey, the people you need to be talking to are people that could benefit from being in better shape or earning extra money, which is every single person in the world, pretty much, right? Like, everybody could benefit from being in better shape, regardless of how good a shape you're in. And
right.
Everybody can benefit from earning extra money, if that's something that they're interested in doing. So, have you had any experience where, for example, where you said no for somebody and you chose, you know what, I'm not going to invite them. And then later when you did, they kind of jumped on it and they were like, hey, because I actually had one where a guy was like, dude, it's about time you asked me, because I've seen you ask everybody else. And I literally was like, you know what, Sean's not going to be interested in this. And kind of made him mad. So,
Absolutely. There's been times where I have said, I'm not inviting them. Like, there's no way that they'd be interested. But I've kind of gotten over that. And when I send out my donuts, I don't skip names anymore. Like, this truly could be for anyone. And there have been times where I have just recently signed a woman up who I skipped over her name many, many times because she didn't come off as the type that would ever want to work out. She was pretty negative for quite a while. She has a son that I used to work with, special needs. And I just thought, you know what, there's no way that she's ever going to have the time to do this. Just making those excuses for other people and not realizing truly how much they need this, not just the working out, not just the eating healthy, but the support.
So I'm sure that most everybody know, but there's a couple of new people on the call. Can you kind of talk to us about what a donut is and then really, if you can kind of break down, like if you're going to work only 2 hours on the day, in a day, what does that look like?
Okay. Yep. So a donut for me is just sending out a random invite. So, hey, how are you doing? I just wanted to check in and see if you have seen any of my posts lately. I've been doing this new program and I'm seeing amazing results along with all the girls in my challenge group. Is this something that would interest you? Sending it out. I noticed on Facebook that a lot of people are not responding. So then you just follow up within like 2 to 3 days saying, hey, I just wanted to reach back out. I don't want you to miss this opportunity. This boxing program has been so much fun. Here are some details, and then just sending them something. And then if they still don't follow up, just connecting with them like monthly and continue following up with them until they either tell you, no, I do not want to do this, or until they sign up with you. And chances are they're going to sign up with you before they tell you no.
Right. Sorry. So I'm just curious, do you know why? Because I know you've been around for a while, but you kind of just really started hitting it hard. You know why it's called a donut?
I do not.
So here's why it's called a donut, is because everybody thinks about like the pastry, right? That's not what it is. It's the donut that, because Carl came up with this, but he talks about the donuts that baseball players put on the baseball bat. And so a donut is, hey, you just going up, before you go out there and you're like actually going to try and hit the ball, you put those donuts on there and you just take these practice swings where you're just like, you know what, I'm just going to give it a whirl. And then you go in there and you do the work. So in theory, it's, hey, here's my 5 practice swings. I'm gonna do 5 donuts, and then I'm gonna go and start having the conversations. But I'm gonna get my donuts out of the way first. So just a little side note, that's where that comes from.
I like that. So if I was to sit down, if I was to only have a couple hours, or even if I was to only have a half hour, because there are days where life is busy and I've got things that I have to do. I'm not sure where this tracker came from. Do you know? I can share it in the comments after.
Awesome.
I pull up my tracker and I make sure that I'm at least finishing this tracker. So I'm sending out challenge group invites. There's 15 daily. I'm inviting to coaching, which I will say I truly did not start doing that until recently because I wasn't really into coaching that much. I wasn't really building before. I was just inviting challengers. But once you start building, it becomes so much more fun that you really want people to also enjoy the money aspect of it. So that's been something that I've been working up to. Then it shows what I'm posting on my story every day. So I have a daily life, a workout clip, product use, another daily life, talk about a group, doing a call to action or a poll, daily life, the hustle in daily life, and then just checking in with my coach.
That's awesome. And again, you're running a daycare out of your house with 12 people, 12 kids, right? You have 4 kids of your own that right now you're homeschooling. I guess y'all still in school up there? We're out, but
We have this week and next week, and then we're done.
So you're homeschooling, but you're still putting, 4 to 5 hours a day in. But the thing is because you've been doing that consistently, now you're built something that's potentially a $50,000, plus
Hmm.
annual income, and only going to get bigger. I can tell you from experience, So there's another question. How many posts do you do a day? And I guess just talk about on IG, and then
So,
Facebook.
oh, sorry.
Or you can read that. You can take it.
I have my Instagram, so it's set up to my Facebook. So whatever I post on my Instagram instantly goes right to my Facebook. And I know that some other coaches don't do that. They use them separately. But for me, it just works the best. I like to share like 2 posts a day of my normal life. And then I like to share 1 to 2 posts of the business. So, and not the business, but either my fitness journey and then what I'm doing as a coach. I haven't been posting as much about like what I do as a coach just because I'm still learning. But I will say that the more that I'm confident in what I'm doing, the more I'm attracting builders and the more success I'm having. So the more confidence, the more I'm sharing. My stories hold more content, or not more content. My stories show more of what I'm doing throughout the day, but my stories usually have lengthier posts. The photos are more edited with like a filter, and it's just showing like the bigger picture.
Okay. So you had a lot of success in this recent flash sale that y'all did, right?
Yep.
How many people do you think that you invited to that flash sale?
Goodness. I'm not sure. I know that I signed up 9 people. Actually, I've got them right here. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 15 women that I invited to that flash sale. When I first made my post, I posted, we are having a flash sale. If you're interested, reach out to me. Whoever liked that post, I went and invited them to it. If they wanted to be invited, I invited them. Then I put up another post and I put the link underneath it where they could go and invite themselves, which kind of was a little tough because then I didn't know if they were there from me or if they were there from a different coach. So it kind of made the follow-ups hard. And I felt like we were kind of like running over each other, the coaches. And I almost didn't take advantage of the flash sale. I almost said like, this isn't for me. I can't do this. Like I thought that I was rushing the conversations. But it turned out so good. The information that was in the flash sale, the simplicity of it, it really just, in the excitement of having those awesome raffles, everyone was just eating it up. And I'm so glad that I didn't let like the fear of it being overwhelming. It was a lot of work on a Saturday. I was on my phone the whole day, and but it paid off. So don't let the overwhelmness of it take over you. So.
Right. And so, I mean, and I think that the thing that people forget about is, if you want this to be something that you earn full-time money at, I'm not going to say you have to put 8 or 40 hours a week into it, but but to get to full-time income, the more hours you put in, the sooner it's going to get there. But if you're just a hobby coach, an hour or 2 here and there, I think that you're just going to kind of maintain a certain plateau. But when you treat your business like a business, and understand, hey, you know what? I'm the only employee in my business. I am my own boss. And so if you stepped out and looked at yourself and said, hey, Chris, I'm going to evaluate how you did this week on your business. And if you're like, well, I think I only worked like an hour and a half, then you might fire yourself or say you need to change that. So that's awesome. But I'll be honest with you, I'm surprised that you only invited 15 people, as many conversations as I think that you're having. But do you think that basically, because like I've invited and I mean, there are different ways to skin a cat, but I mean, I've probably invited, not counting my customers, which, I mean, that's different. but I'm probably, I'm just sending an invite saying, hey, you know what, we're having this really cool flash sale. There's going to be some great prizes. Would it be cool if I sent you a link? And, it's very donutish, right? I mean, it's just
Right.
a lot of them are people I've never even talked to before, but, I'm probably in, close to 100 of those invites.
So yeah, I did donut as many people as I possibly could, but the conversations where it led me to saying, yeah, invite me, I had like 15.
Okay, so got 15 people in the group.
Yes. And then
yeah,
I know that I had more from sharing the link underneath one of my pictures. I just wasn't sure who came from me.
Right. No, that's the picture that I'm trying to paint for some of the people, though, where, when somebody is like, hey, I invited 2 people yesterday, and that's great, but it just depends on what your goals are. If your goals are, hey, you know what, I want to pay for lunch one day, then that's cool, but if your goal is something more like, hey, I want to leave my day job, or I want to pay off my, college student loan or whatever, then you might need to invite more than 2 people.
Yeah.
Okay. What else would,
sorry. There's definitely days too where like I can send out 100 invites and I might only get 2 responses. And that's tough and it's a hard pill to swallow. And I think even like this week with all the excuses that I've had flowing in, slowing down after a flash sale can be kind of hard to take, but don't give up. Keep going. Keep inviting. Keep doing those, because you're going to have slow weeks. You're going to have times where you're like, oh my gosh, like what's happening? Why am I not getting any love back? Dig deeper. Keep going. People need to hear where you're coming from. Share your why, share your story, and just continue to share. Continue to show up every single day and do the vitals.
Right. Awesome. Any other questions, guys? I don't want to take all night for you. What's the goal for this year? By the end of the year, Becca?
Right now, my goal is 2-star. And I do need to dive a little deeper. I don't have any end goals. To be completely honest, this is still just all so new to me that I still don't even know what's possible. So.
But you're building on your husband's inside leg now, right?
Yeah.
I was gonna say you're better, because I was looking in the downline and I was like, where's this girl putting all these?
He's almost to diamond, but I had somebody cancel today, but then I signed somebody up, so I think he's back to where I can just build under.
Well, okay, so we'll maybe we'll talk about that.
Right.
But I'm talking about you're sponsored, your coaches, but you put them on his inside leg so that both of you earn money, not just you. But awesome. All right. Well, man, that's fantastic, and I think that it's so great for people to hear from someone who, kind of has had some ebb and flow. Heck, you even quit and left and came back. But what I hear from you, or what kind of my takeaways from this is, one is you got to be the product of the product, right? You got to actually do one of the workouts, because if you're not doing one of the workouts or have never done one of the workouts, then why would somebody count on you to get results from the workout? And people are as busy as they want themselves to be too, I think. 12 kids in a daycare from home with 4 homeschooled kids, or I guess the 1-year-old's not in school, but still requires some attention. It's everybody that says, well, man, I just don't really have the time, what they're really saying is, what, I don't want to make the time for this. And that's okay. If they're okay with where they are, then that's fine. But I think that almost anybody that you talk to, and you might be the person for most everyone. When somebody's like, man, I just don't have the time, I'd be like, that's crazy, because I just had this girl on our team call, and you should hear how busy this lady is, and she's freaking killing it. And and there are people killing it who are probably busier than you. I don't know who they would be, because you sound really busy. But I'm just super impressed with what you've been able to do, and that you show all these people what's possible, and super grateful that you would come on the call and share this with us. So,
Absolutely.
and I'm
Thank
glad
you
to
for
see
having me.
you in Team Pan now, because now when I'm tagging you as the Success Club points leader, you can see it. So
I know. I felt so bad. I said, Katie, I don't even know where this post is.
yeah, no worries. So awesome. Well, thank you so much again, and I look forward to seeing where you take this, because a couple of years from now, you're gonna be like, man, remember when I was on your call and I was like a diamond? I was like, I don't even know what's possible. Look at what I did. Amazing. I can't wait.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks for being on the call.